Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new day of Road to Worlds TCG 2019. Thank you so much for joining me. This is our last video covering all the tag teams from the newest set, Team Up, and I'm very excited to showcase this one. It's a very different deck. It's probably the least competitive out of all the tag teams, I would say, because it does require a stage 2 setup, but I do think that it could have some potential if the meta is right for it, if the meta slows down a bit, and because Articuno is actually a pretty powerful resource to have. So, first up we have the tag team Magikarp Wailord GX. Now 300 HP and you get the attack Super Splash, which deals 180 damage, a very solid attack for 5 energy, decently cost effective. A choice band makes it 210, which hits a lot of really good numbers against a lot of GXs that are not tag team. And Towering Splash GX dealing 10 damage and then 100 to the bench, so you have 7 extra energy attached to Magikarp Wailord, is actually a pretty interesting attack for sure. However, we are probably not going to be using it too much. It's nice to threaten with it, it's nice to have the option, but it won't necessarily be as useful as the other one. Now, we have Blastoise with its ability Powerful Squall, where once during your turn before you attack, you may look at the top 6 cards of your deck and attach any number of water energy cards you find there to your Pokemon in any way you like. So that's the main way we are going to be powering up our attackers with Powerful Squall. We're hoping to hit a lot of energy that way. We have a very healthy amount of energy in 13, and we have Aqua Patches as well as energy recycle systems to recover any energy that gets lost along the way. Now, Articuno with 110 HP and its ability Blizzard Veil, as long as this Pokemon is your active Pokemon, whenever your opponent plays a supporter card from their hand, prevent all effects of that card done to your benched water Pokemon. That's basically, your opponent cannot Guzma, or I guess Faba or Plumeria, but most importantly, they cannot Guzma up a Blastoise or a Magikarp Wailord as long as Articuno is the active Pokemon. Yeah. So this gives us a lot of protection, which is really nice. And then Cold Cyclone deals 70 damage, and then you move 2 water energy attached to this Pokemon to one of your benched Pokemon. 70 damage is solid, it does 1-hit KO a lot of basic Pokemon, and you get to power up your Magikarp Wailord almost immediately. Now we also have a one-off Eevee Snorlax GX, different weakness, and then we also have the Dump Truck Press attack, which for 120 damage, for 4 energy rather, it deals 120 damage plus 120 more if your opponent's active Pokemon is an evolution Pokemon. So a very solid attack, and the GX is also potentially a bit more useful than Wailord's. Megaton Friends GX deals 210 damage, a very solid number to hit without a choice band, and with a choice band it 1-hit KOs Pikachu and Zekrom, which is awesome. And then if this Pokemon has at least 1 extra energy, not 7 like Magikarp Wailord, you draw cards until you have 10 cards in your hand, and then you draw your prizes. So at the very least, you're going to be having 11 cards plus the card you draw when you start your turn when going into your next turn, which should give you all of the options that you might need. Double Tapu Lele for setup, and then we have the engine for Lily, to Cynthia, to Erika's, and to Guzma. I've really been liking Erika's Hospitality. The more I play with it, the more I think it's going to be at least a 1-off, if not a 2 or 3 of in a lot of decks. It's not very useful on turn 1, but outside of that, it's really powerful card. Triple Brooklet Heal helps us set up as well, along with our 4 Ultra Balls. We have Forward Candy to get those Blastoise out. We have Double Pokemon Communication as well to help us in getting the Pokemon out without the heavy cost of the Ultra Ball. 2 energy recycle system and 4 Aqua Patch, as I said, to recover energies, a single stretcher as well to help recover us, and then double choice band to increase our damage output. 13 basic water energy round out the deck, and so let's jump into the ladder. Where is my... Did I not start it? It is starred. So why is it not in the list of decks that I can use? Oh, it's right here. There we go. I don't know if I missed it or there was a bug, but there we go. Wailord, Magikarp, Blastoise, Articuno, a really cool combination of water type Pokemon. We'll see how we do with this deck. I'm a bit skeptical of the low Guzma count. I can see also replacing, just outright replacing the Aqua Patches for more energy. That way you keep finding more through Blastoise. Aqua Patching onto Blastoise is obviously not that great of an option, but it seems like we're up against Ultra Necros now, which has been quite popular on the ladder as of late. And yeah, we get to go second, which is not ideal. However, we do start with the Magikarp and Wailord. Switching cards could also be nice. We do have a decent-ish setup here. We're gonna get a mulligan as well, and we're gonna confirm that it is indeed Ultra Necros Malamar. And this is a pretty okay setup, I guess. It's not the best, not the worst either. The extra Lily, not too useful. Ribbon starts out with a team up Jirachi, very nice. We'll go ahead and use Stellar Wish immediately, failing it, interestingly enough. Not finding anything useful there apparently. And then we see the Mysterious Treasure, discarding the Psychic, grabbing an Inkay, and then going for the Lily for 5. Very nice for my opponent. There's gonna be the other Inkay. My opponent could potentially knock out a Squirtle on turn 1, so I probably want to set up double Squirtle here. It sucks that Ultra Necros has 190 HP. Therefore, we're always going to need a Choice Band on the Magikarp and Wailord to KO it, or a previous hit beforehand. However, building up to the GX attack could be pretty important in this matchup, because Malamars have 100 HP. I mean, less than 100 HP, so does Jirachi, and my opponent's already committed to triple Malamar, so perhaps that might end up being our win condition. So I'm gonna go ahead and Pokemon Communication first, the Blastoise away, definitely grabbing one of my 2 Squirtles. We see that one of them is prized and a Blastoise is also prized. Then we're gonna confirm one Tapu Lele is prized as well, the other Magikarp and Wailord is available, and Aqua Patch is prized. We have one Lily prized, that's pretty much it, and then no energies. So nothing too crucial. We're definitely not going to be able to set up 3 Blastoise this game, but that's okay. Now, definitely going to keep the 2 waters. I feel like keeping water energy available to attach every turn is going to be pretty important. And we get a super nice Lily for 7 here. Now, if opponent didn't attach any energy whatsoever, does have 2 in the discard pile, but it's not the biggest of deals. And then definitely want to bench the Articuno. And then I think I just pass here, right? Yeah, I'll just pass. The Aqua Patch I might want to save to power up a different Magikarp and Wailord tag team. I would have really preferred to draw Erika's rather than Cynthia here, although putting back the energy is pretty nice. As you can see, there's a Wailord and a Magikarp just hang out behind me, being super supportive. Now my opponent does grab a Viridian Forest. We could end up using that to our advantage, but getting rid of it could also be quite important. Now that does get him the Metal Energy, right? Which my opponent definitely wants. So perhaps if he goes Guzma KO Squirtle here, going with the Aqua Patch onto the Articuno would have been a good idea. Oh, if that happens, I'm gonna be very sad. 2 cards in hand, and no, we're just gonna see a Lily. We might not even get attacked this turn. We see the escape board, and my opponent will choose to retreat, interestingly enough. Get the first hit in 130 damage. That's not still close to the 2-hit KO range. Like, another Psychic doesn't get him a knockout, which is really nice. And I do find a Choice Band myself, which I do want on the Magikarp and Wailord. I will go ahead and Aqua Patch to the Articuno. Probably gonna be important to get that hit in. And the thing is, I'm a bit scared that I won't be able to set up the Blastoise. Yep, it's not looking great. It's not looking great for me to either retreat or do a lot of anything really. I'm gonna go ahead and search for the other Magikarp Wailord. And then I definitely don't want a GX here. So things are not looking great at this point. Our Cynthia and Lily have been very underwhelming. We've dropped a lot of energy in both of them and nothing too useful. And there's a Guzma, which honestly I don't mind now. Now I'm glad I used the Aqua Patch. It's what's gonna happen now is my Articuno will be up, and I will be able to not only load up the Magikarp Wailord, probably this other one, depending on what I draw of the Cynthia. Ooh, the Giratina is interesting. The 10 damage should have gone to the Articuno, I feel, because that way with just one energy Ultra Charisma could get a knockout. Losing the Squirtle, not great, but thanks to Articuno's protection, and especially if... oh wow, my opponent actually doesn't even get a knockout here, interesting. Huh. Why? Okay, so attaching energy to the active definitely seems good. If I get a Aqua Patch, I still can power up the Articuno, that would have been great. Okay, but at least I get a Blastoise out, and that could help me in powering up the Articuno. So probably not gonna use the Eevee and Snorlax. I will be able to get a Blastoise out, which is awesome. Right? And then I'm gonna go ahead and Rare Candy this guy. And then here's what's gonna happen. I'm going to go ahead and retreat first. Then I'm gonna put back the energy into the deck. Yeah, I like Energy Recycle system over the other energy recycler simply because it gives you the option to put back energy into your hand. Energy goes back, and now I'm gonna use Powerful Squall. And I do find 2 water energy, which is pretty nice. I'm gonna touch 1 here. And then I have full protection, right? My opponent, there's no way he can Kuzma. I'm gonna get a knockout, the first knockout, interestingly enough. And then the other energy I think will go to this other Articuno. And then what will happen is I'm gonna Cold Cyclone here, get a knockout, and then who gets the energy? There's no way I'm gonna get a Kuzma next turn, although I do have a Lele priced. I do have Lele and Lily, so I have a decent chance to get something out of my price cards. I feel like they should go here, in case he tries to attack with Ultra Charisma this turn. And I get an Aqua Patch, not the best card to get off of the prizes. He's gonna knock me out with Giratina this time around. Right? He's gonna end up knocking me out with Giratina this time around. What I could do, actually, is, I mean, if I get lucky enough, I could build up to the GX attack, right? And then just get 4 prizes that way. That honestly sounds like a good plan. And this stadium will actually help me, right? Because it gets me an energy into the discard pile, which I can then Aqua Patch, gets me an energy to attach, that's 6. Well, it won't help me with the Aqua Patch, actually. Okay, so that thing is almost ready. Okay, so the other thing I could try to do is just promote this guy and get a knockout, right? And then just fully commit to this guy, whilst I do have a turn to protect myself with the Articuno. That might be my endgame plan, right? Because these 4 Pokemon will always be on the bench. So I think that's definitely my plan here. So, I'm gonna go ahead and choose to thin the water. Grab another water here. Well, that does make my Blastoise less effective. I think it's fine. Then we're gonna use Powerful Squall. I do find 2 waters. One will go to the Articuno, the other will go to the Magikarp Wailord. And the Aqua Patch will go onto the Magikarp Wailord. And then I'm gonna go ahead and get a knockout here with Super Splash. My opponent can't use his GX attack just yet. And my prize card will be a rare candy. Not what we're looking for really here. Okay. So probably gonna end up using Viridian Forest. I hope I top deck a Pokemon so I can grab a Lele. That would be awesome. Although benching Lele would open myself up to a Kuzma play for me to lose the game. So perhaps not the best idea there. I have 4 energy. I need 4 more. I have 1 more guaranteed with Viridian Forest next turn and then turn afterwards. So I need Blastoise to hit energies. I need Blastoise to hit energies here. We'll see. We'll see. I need some like average Blastoise abilities. That's what I need. And then I might just Viridian Forest away the rare candy. Yep, so there's the Fortune Geyser, there's the knockout. I shouldn't bench under Squirtle, although I can't even do that, even if I wanted to. Just to protect myself from the GX attack. Get your prizes, that's fine. Oof, I do grab the Lele. So then I'm just gonna go double Blastoise, right? That has to be the play. Between double Blastoise. Yeah, because otherwise I'm open to a Kuzma play. I have 4 water energy left exactly, so I need to hit all 4 of them eventually off of these Blastoises. Alright, so Powerful Squall gets me 1. The other Powerful Squall doesn't get me any. Yikes. And then I will Cold Cyclone here. The issue is my Aqua Patches are no longer good to go. So, I mean, I can find 1 energy off of the Viridian Forest, but I need to hit 2 with Powerful Squall from Blastoise. So, I need something very special to happen next turn. I need a good top deck to close out this game by taking 4 prizes with my ability. So perhaps instead of the Aqua Patches, if they were just regular energy, maybe that would have been better. Like that would have worked out better overall, perhaps. We'll see. Does decide to attach to Ultra Guzma. I mean, no, with the Viridian Forest, he always has knockout, right? Ooh, goes into Jirachi. Oh, please, Guzma. Nah, it doesn't matter, right? It actually doesn't matter. I mean, he definitely has a Kuzma, I would assume. Grabs a switch. Like, if he plays Kuzma, then that's fine. He would still get to switch into the Giratina and get a KO. Simply plays the switch, though. There's no way he doesn't have a Metal Energy. So, yeah, just goes for a Shadow Impact. Interestingly enough, doesn't even go for the Metal Energy. Okay, so here we go. The absolutely decisive turn here. We get a water. That's not great. That greatly reduces the chances of us pulling off. Out of all the top decks, that was literally the worst one. Oh, but each Powerful Squall gets me an energy. That is crazy. That is actually crazy. And my opponent concedes before I can even use my attack. Wow. Despite getting that terrible top deck, we actually are able to get the win. Wow. We did get to see the GX attack in action. I do feel like I should just put in the energy instead of the Aqua Patches here. It would simply make, well, like maybe leave 2 Aqua Patches, but definitely want more actual energy. I think that's good. I think that looks pretty solid. I can see how starting Articuno is so crucial that maybe dropping the Evian Snorlax for an extra Articuno could be good. We lose the coin flip. We do lose the coin flip here, and we start Articuno, which is very, very nice. We actually have a very solid start. We can get double Squirtle down, or we can keep the Water Turtle if we really want to. We have the Brooklet Heal for Squirtle. Have Articuno's protection, which is nice, and dealing a KO to the 110 HP Articuno is not necessarily easy. We'll see. Depending on what my opponent is threatening with, I might just Brooklet Heal for a second Articuno if it comes to that. Immediate Skateboard. This might be Zapdos, probably a difficult-ish deck to play against, but no, it's another Malamar. Malamar is apparently very popular today. And our strategy might just end up being the same. Yeah, our strategy might just end up being the exact same thing. We promote the we try and take 2 prizes, perhaps on a Jirachi, and then we just go ahead and use the GX to KO a lot of Malamars. Microbike discards a Lily. That's already 2 draw supporters down. Alright, that's already 2 draw supporters down. There's a second Jirachi, there's another Skateboard. I mean, all I see is 100 HP Pogon that I can one-hit KO very easily at some point or another, so not too worried just yet. Not too worried just yet. There's an Ultra Ball. There's another Ultra Ball. Discarding Marshadow and a Psychic. Okay, so now the likelihood of the Giratina KOing my Articuno just went way up, right? Way up. I have the rare candy now, so definitely want to search for a Squirtle here. And I definitely want a Pokemon Communication for another Articuno. 2 Blastoise out is definitely a luxury, and we'll go ahead and attach to the bench Articuno because the active one is definitely going to go down, and then we're going to go ahead and Lily. We do not find any sort of Blastoise here or Ultra Ball or the other communication to be able to actually start powering a big guy up. Not the end of the world, but definitely a bit underwhelming. Hopefully our Brooklet Heal sticks. That's what I think is going to be the most crucial card here. And yep, I bet we'll go ahead and Stellar Wish for a Mysterious Treasure that guarantees him another Malamar, potentially even a Marshadow. Yeah, but it might choose to let loose here, which is another potential KO for us, right? Another potential KO for us. Does discard a Guzman, recognizes that they're not too useful when Articuno is present, but there's the other Malamar. And we're gonna see a Lily for 5. So my opponent has guaranteed knockouts. We'll go ahead and Acrobike. We don't know if we're up against Ultra Necrozma or the regular Malamar, but usually Marshadow indicates the pure Psychic version, right? Okay. There's the Let Loose Marshadow. So now, my opponent's bench is filled with potentially, or is going to be filled with potentially 6 or 5 targets, right? 5 targets for me to aggressively take down with the Magikarp Wailord Tag Team GX attack. Oh my gosh, these hands of Letlus are so terrible. So terrible. Okay. There's the retreat. There's the KO. And does put the damage on the Jirachi, that is fine. He might even end up KOing one of his own Jirachi. So, because of my current predicament, I'm gonna have to grab another Articuno. And I'm gonna attach to this guy, and then this gets me a knockout on the Giratina. Right, next turn. But I will be down 2 prizes, which is never a good thing. And yeah, my deck is full of useful cards, but also full of some not very useful cards. So we'll have to see what happens here. We shall see what happens. It's not looking great. It's not looking like we're going to be able to stabilize here. Energy on Marshadow might indicate, I was going to say, it might have indicated that he was going to try and... that damage should have been on the Giratina. He might have indicated... It might have indicated that he was going to try and Guzma. Obviously he can't. Ooh, okay. That's a very nice top deck, for sure. And now I need a very lucky, powerful Squalls here. We do have a lot of extra energy, which is really nice. So I get 4 energy out of my first powerful Squall. So that's a lot of deck thinning right there, which is really, really good. I will go ahead and attach the Choice Band, and I will go ahead and Cold Cyclone. That gets me a knockout, gets me a prize card, which could potentially help, and I now only need 2 energy for Magikarp and Wailord. And my prize is a beautiful prize. My prize card might be the reason why we take... I mean, it's looking like we're going to take at least 4 prizes next turn. And... if my opponent chooses to attack me with Giratina, we might just win the game next turn. We might just actually do that. Based off of the fact that we're going to knock out 2 Malamars, 2 Jirachis, and that Marshadow. So it's looking really good for us here. Probably not, like, we can't see another benched Marshadow because otherwise my opponent literally has nothing to attack me with. That bench space is gonna be for a big attacker. But my opponent cannot Guzma. And even if he could Guzma, he couldn't knock out my Magikarp Wailord. All he could do would be KO the Blastoise, which makes sense. Sorry about the background noise. There's the Giratina back, so it's looking like that will be the attacker of choice, but I'm 2 energy away from pulling off another Towering Splash GX KO next turn. There's the Giratina. There's an Ultra Ball, but the game might be over next turn. Despite our very not so great draws, this might just end up being a wash for my opponent here. Yep, there's 5 prizes on the bench right there. There's 5 prizes on the bench right there. I will be able to thin an extra card off with a Brooklet. Does KO his own Marshadow. I am okay with that. Honestly, it's still my win. Like, I'm still in the same spot, and there's the concede. So Magikarp Wailord proving to be too powerful for Malamar. The deck not running exceptionally well, not gonna lie, but I do feel like the extra energy probably make Blastoise a lot better. The issue is you do end up with potentially hands that just have a bunch of energy stuck in them, and there's not much you can do about that. But anyways, guys, that's gonna be for Magikarp Wailord with Blastoise. That will be the last deck we had to cover for all the tag teams, and then you're watching this on Monday. I will definitely be live later today with some action with other tag team, or rather team up decks that feature non-GXs. So Zapdos and Jirachi, Lost March, Charizard, and Gyarados, just to name a few. Yeah, those are the ones that I have prepared for today. So hopefully I catch you guys on stream, twitch.tv/Tablemon. I will see you guys there. Bye-bye.